Yassas and welcome to Greek News Global. I'm John Mangos. In this bulletin, the final survivor of the PAOK supporter road crash returns to Greece. Greece's curious connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Elon Musk criticises Chris Nolan's forthcoming film, The Odyssey. And the Greek-American boy who took 36 years to return his book to the library. But first, to Greece, where a total of 36 defendants are set to appear before an appeals court in March for felonies, as authorities continue to examine responsibility for Greece's 2023 Tempe rail tragedy, the deadliest in the country's history. Investigators have now revealed that seats on the passenger train involved in the disaster failed to meet European fire durability standards. According to Greece's Rail Accident Authority, seat samples tested at a specialist laboratory in Germany clearly failed EU fire resistance requirements, raising further questions ahead of next month's trial. The head-on collision between the passenger train and a freight train on February 28 in 2023 claimed the lives of 57 people. The final survivor of last week's PAOK supporter road crash in Romania is expected to return to Greece via air ambulance this week. The fan is one of 3 people who survived the January 27 accident that killed 7 Greek football fans. The other 2 survivors have already been repatriated. One has since been discharged, while another remains in hospital in Thessaloniki. The man had received treatment in Romania, where doctors delayed his transfer until he was fit to fly, following emergency surgery. The crash happened near Lugoj in western Romania when a minibus carrying PAOK supporters to a Europa League match in France collided head-on with a truck. Investigations into the cause of the accident continue. To the United States, and 3 million pages of Epstein files, which have just been made public, have now revealed an unknown Greek woman contacted the disgraced former financier of the birth of her child. The message says this.
Dear Jeffrey, on Sunday night I brought a little baby, a girl, into the world. She weighed 7 pounds, 3.2 kilos. I had an epidural and delivered her in 40 minutes. Right after, I ate a huge cheeseburger.
According to counts said to be based on the full body of material, food-related terms appear with suspiciously unusual frequency. The word pasta is recorded 428 times, pizza approximately 900 times, and cheese more than 1,140 times, leading to suspicions that the words are code relating to human trafficking rings and the sexual abuse of minors. And staying on the Epstein files, Greece appears more than 1,500 times in a newly released tranche of files, with one exchange now drawing particular attention. The documents reveal private emails between Epstein and banking heiress Ariane de Rothschild during the chaos of Greece's 2015 referendum. The emails reveal Rothschild suggested then Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras was after controversial Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis' head to ease pressure from Europe on the then struggling Greece. Epstein's response was blunt, warning the move would force Greece into immediate solutions, not promises. And you'll be able to hear more about this period in Greek history when Yanis Varoufakis joins Tom and Nick this March on the Ouzo Talk Podcast. Finally, on Jeffrey Epstein, Greek-American former CIA agent and whistleblower John Kiriakou has claimed that the convicted sex offender was most likely an Israeli spy. Speaking with Steve Bartlett on the Diary of a CEO podcast, Kiriakou said Epstein was a textbook example of an access agent.
I believe very strongly he was a spy, yes.
And who do you think he was working for?
The Israelis. I'm confident. Jeffrey Epstein is kind of the stereotypical example that they give you in training for what's called an access agent. If you're a foreign intelligence service and you want information, like close-in information, you're not going to recruit these guys. You recruit somebody who has regular access to them.
Elon Musk has attacked director Christopher Nolan over casting choices made for the upcoming Hollywood epic, The Odyssey. Musk accused the Oscar winner of abandoning artistic integrity in favour of identity politics, reacting to reports that Lupita Nyong'o, a woman of colour, was cast as Helen of Troy. Posting on X, Musk said the decision makes the story incoherent and insults the original author, Homer. The film, starring Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, has been criticised for its lack of Greek representation since being announced. Greek film expert and Sydney University professor Brasidas Karalis had this to say.
We can see that it's a cultural appropriation of a Greek story, of a Greek myth. It's about Greece, but there are no Greeks in there. And I think that the whole film has become an American fantasy, especially an American fantasy about the cultural wars that take place in America at this very moment. And I think the whole thing will be a very, if I may say, a very deep injustice to the myth, to the original story of Homer, which is complex, which is extremely complicated, but extremely archetypal and profound in its implications. But unfortunately, Christopher Nolan chose if I may say, the wrong way and Americanized the film. It made the film for if I may say, for an audience from Los Angeles and San Francisco and New York.
The Delphi Economic Forum will hold its first Australian edition in Sydney in late March, expanding the bilateral policy and bringing experts together from beyond their traditional base in Greece. The event will be hosted by the Hellenic Initiative Australia and will attract senior figures from government, business, academia and the media. Earlier, Greek News Global spoke with the president of THI Australia, George Kalis, who expanded on his expectations for the forum.
It's like a mini Davos, which, as you know, was just recently held in Switzerland. And it's an opportunity to expand economic ties between Australia and Greece. We will have about 8 panels with some of the greatest minds in business, economics and politics to brainstorm ways in which we can improve relationships between Greece and Australia.
Meanwhile, Greece is preparing sweeping changes to how its citizens abroad vote, creating a new system that will allow expatriates to directly elect their own members of parliament for the first time. Under the plan, Greeks living overseas will no longer vote using standard party ballots from Greece. Instead, they'll cast a special expatriate ballot, most likely by post, choosing both a political party and a specific candidate drawn from the global Greek diaspora. The plan calls for a special 3-seat constituency for the Greek diaspora. To preserve proportionality, seats elected from the nationwide party list would be reduced from 15 to 12, leaving all other electoral districts unchanged. The government says the change will strengthen representation and engagement among Greeks abroad, but the reform is facing strong resistance from the smaller parties concerned about losing seats. Greek authorities are moving to shut down illegal mosques across Athens. Immigration and Asylum Minister Thanos Plevris has announced a citywide sweep to identify and close all unauthorised places of worship, with deportations to follow. Speaking in Parliament, Plevris warned that what happened in Agios Nikolaos will happen everywhere, referring to the recent revocation of a resident permit held by a Bangladeshi national operating an illegal mosque. The minister says anyone violating Greek law will be automatically deported. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has ruled out mass vaccinations as a way of combating Greece's prolonged outbreak of sheep and goat pox, despite the European Commission and European Food Safety Authority recommending it as a way to combat the problem. Mitsotakis warned that vaccination may spread the disease further as biosecurity measures have not been properly followed. The government will instead focus on boosting veterinary services by deploying military veterinarians, authorising private and temporary vets, and expanding laboratory capacity. Nearly 473,000 animals have already been culled since August 2024, with more than 2,000 cases confirmed on farms nationwide and new infections still emerging. The outbreak has hit livestock breeders hard, resulting in major concerns for Greece's feta industry, worth around €1 billion a year. But it's the human impact that has the heaviest burden. Greek farmer Konstantinos Theophilou tearfully lamented the loss of his 450 sheep in a video posted to social media recently.
Από τους λύκους τα φύλαξα, από την πείνα τα φύλαξα, από τα πάντα τα φύλαξα. Το άδικο είναι πολύ βαρύτερο από τη ζημία. Τώρα που θα φύγουν τα δικά τα πρόβατα, κάνω ό,τι θες. Αυτό το φωνικό, εγώ είμαι αθώος στα χέρια μου, τα φύλαξα.
Greece is on the verge of prohibiting the use of social media for minors under the age of 15, becoming the latest nation to join a growing global movement aimed at establishing a digital age of consent. The initiative has the support of Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis, who previously asserted in a speech to the United Nations that technology giants must understand who sets the rules and should not profit from the vulnerability of children. Unlike the approach taken by Australia, which focuses on preventing minors from creating accounts on social media platforms, the Greek model aims to control access at the device level. Greece's Ministry of Digital Governance plans to utilise the Kids Wallet, a tool available through the Greek government portal. The National and Kapodistrian University of Athens has been ranked the #1 university in Greece and Cyprus in the latest international rankings. The university was placed in the top 80 universities of Europe, while Thessaloniki's Aristotle University followed as Greece's second highest entry. A major step forward has been taken for the Holocaust Museum of Greece in Thessaloniki, with the construction contract having now been signed, officially moving the landmark project from planning into implementation. The museum is backed by major international and Greek donors, including the Greek government, Germany, the Stavros Niarchos Foundation and the Genesis Prize Foundation. Once complete, the museum will stand as a powerful site of memory, education and international significance in the heart of Thessaloniki, once one of Europe's most populous Jewish cities. Greece and Italy are collaborating on a joint scientific team to protect cultural heritage. The joint team of scientists is documenting, identifying and conserving in both countries significant ceramic artefacts, primarily from attic workshops originating from illicit excavations. Now, this initiative was the outcome of bilateral contracts between Greece's Minister for Culture and her Italian counterpart Alessandro Giuili, together in Athens. To sporting news now, and Greece's women's water polo team has continued its strong showing at the Women's European Championships in Portugal, advancing to the Final Four after an impressive group stage campaign. Greece topped its pool in emphatic style, overpowering Croatia 23-6 and recording a decisive 15-10 victory over Italy to book a place in the semi-finals. The Greeks were pushed all the way by Hungary in a tense encounter that finished 8-8 after regular time. Hungary eventually edged the contest to 12-11 on penalties, denying Greece a place in the final. Greece will now turn its attention to the bronze medal playoff. This news on the back of Greece's men's team winning the bronze medal at the same tournament last month. And finally, we all know that Greeks are notorious for being late, but this story may help you not feel so bad. Dimitri Economou's library book was due back in 1989. Now, 36 years later, he has realised his parents had never returned it to the Chantilly Regional Library in Virginia in the United States. The book, with the delightful title of Harry the Dirty Dog, was discovered when Dimitri was searching at his parents' home looking for something to read to his 7-year-old son. Dimitri's copy of the book was due back on the 6th of November 1989 when he was just 5. When the book was finally returned, librarian Maggie Penman said the library had decided to waive the late fees years ago, despite the family saying they'd have been happy to pay the fine as a show of support. And that's it for our first edition of Greek News Global, recorded on the 5th of February 2026. I'm John Mangos. Γεια σας και να είστε καλά.